I want to talk about the best and worst foods for belly bloating. A lot of people have this, and so they're not sure exactly what causes it. There's several reasons. Number one, you can be lactose intolerant. Many people have an intolerance with lactose, which is milk sugar. And if you're doing any type of dairy, with the exception of cheese and definitely butter, because both of those products have virtually zero lactose. So if you're lacking an enzyme that helps you break down that milk sugar, you're going to bloat. Next condition is SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. This is a situation where you have the good bacteria in the wrong place. It should be in the large intestine, and it's not. It's in the small intestine. So you eat food, fiber, it gets fermented in the wrong place. Your small intestine is not the place where you're supposed to ferment fiber. And this is where you're going to get a lot of gas and pain because the microbes are fermenting the fiber. Not a good situation. Next condition would be just having low stomach acid. As you get older, you do not have the stomach acid to break down, especially proteins. So you might find that red meat will bloat you, things like that. Also, it takes a very strong acidic stomach to release bile from the liver. So they both work hand in hand. Now, you could actually just be low in bile because either you don't have a gallbladder or the liver is not producing enough bile. Maybe you're on a low-fat diet because fat triggers the release of bile. And then there's a lot of other conditions that involve inflammation in certain parts of your digestive tract. That can definitely cause bloating. And then you have food allergies. You can be allergic to casein, which is the protein in milk, or to the protein in peanuts, or to eggs. And it's really good just to get a food allergy test to pick that up. And gluten is a big one. If you're allergic to gluten or have a sensitivity to gluten, which is the protein in certain grains, you're definitely going to bloat. You'll get inflammation. All right, on the left, we have a list of the worst foods for bloating. Beans, lentils, soda, not just the high fructose corn syrup in the soda, but the carbonation. MSG foods, that includes a lot of fast foods. MSG has the potential to increase insulin and create insulin resistance, and that alone is going to create a lot of digestive issues. Dairy, we've already mentioned that briefly. Grains, we've already talked about gluten. Fruit, apples, big time, pears, and other fruit will definitely cause bloating. Beer, broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, onion, and almonds. Okay, so if you have bloating, you might want to just eliminate these foods right here. The best foods for reducing bloating would be leafy greens, maybe a smaller amount. So usually people can digest lettuce fairly easily and they don't have a problem. But when you get into more of the cruciferous, even kale, for some people that can create bloating. For me, if I consume broccoli, it'll tear me up. I never consume broccoli. I would love to, but I can't do it. I can do cabbage, I can do Brussels sprouts, not a problem, but broccoli I can't do. Fermented vegetables are very good for the digestive system. Kimchi, very beneficial for the gut because not only does it have the prebiotic, but it also has the probiotic at the same time. And as a side note, I have found that some of these items listed on the worst section can be lessened as far as creating less bloating if you at the same time consume some probiotics. Might want to try that as well. Of course, I'm not talking about beer. All right, eggs seem to be pretty easy to digest unless you have an allergy. Fish is fairly easy to digest, especially if it's fatty fish and you don't have an allergy. Proteins that normally come with more fat are much easier to digest than lean proteins. Ginger, good for bloating. Asparagus. Pistachios. Pistachios create the least bloating. Almonds create the most bloating. I also consume pecans in small amounts. It doesn't bloat me. Large amounts, it will. Fennel will help reduce bloating. Lemon will help you. Mint, mint tea. Spearmint tea is all great for bloating. And a fatty hamburger without the bun. Now, when you consume a lean hamburger, you'll notice more digestive issues and bloating than a fattier hamburger. And so the fat and the protein helps you release more bile to give you better digestion. Now, there's two last things you might want to consider if you have bloating. One is making your stomach more acidic by adding something called betaine hydrochloride, and they come in little tablets, and you may need, starting out, 5 before a meal. Could be a little bit more, but you'll find that you'll digest much better. Second thing is bile salts. I recommend taking bile salts after the meal, not before. It's not an absolute necessity, but it can help you because many people are deficient in bile. Hey, before you go real quick, I have a course entitled How to Bulletproof Your Immune System. It's a free course. I want you to take it. And here's why. Here's you. Here is your environment. Everyone is focused on this over here, avoiding your environment. But what about here? What about strengthening your immune system? That's what's missing. This course will show you how to bulletproof yourself, and so you can tolerate and resist your environment much better by strengthening your own immune system. I put a link down in the description right down below. Check it out and get signed up today.